Hi everyone, welcome to Tech Talk, a podcast where Amit and we talk about various technology related topics. Today's topic might be a little bit controversial because it may not sound like a technical topic. We're going to talk about drop shipping today, but we're going to talk about the technical aspects of drop shipping and what goes behind it and what makes it all work. Drop shipping has been quite a popular word for quite a few years, and now actually it is up to one's individual judgment whether it's become too saturated to even do anything with it. But the technology behind it, and the logistics, even the business model, is actually quite interesting, and it would be I think quite informative for our audience to hear. And so we thought, hey, why not talk about this topic with a lot of business knowledge or business buzzwords or sort of how do I call it? A lot of popularity in terms of business, but it has a technical aspect behind it as well, which is I would imagine quite interesting to our audience. So yeah. So Amit, what's your thought on drop shipping, or what is drop shipping to start with?
Thanks a lot, Rinat. I actually know about dropshipping thanks to you because you set up a shop on Etsy, and from there I came to know about dropshipping as a concept. Dropshipping is a relatively new concept, and it has two aspects. One is two parts to it: drop and shipping. So the shipping aspect, I think everyone knows. In the world today, we have a very famous platforms like Amazon, eBay, Alibaba, and many other websites from where you can shop online. And when you shop online, you make a payment. So you select a product, you add it to your cart, you make a payment, and then the order gets delivered to your house. Now, in the normal delivery process, what happens is Amazon or Alibaba or eBay, they own the inventory. So basically, they have the product with them at the time of order. So in case they don't have the product, you will not be able to order it. It's as simple as that. So that's the standard model of e-commerce when it comes to shipping. If you have the product, you can add it to the cart, you can buy it, and then it can get shipped. If it is not there, you can pre-order it, or it shows out of in it's out of stock. Okay, but in drop shipping, now this is very interesting. So you come to my shop. I create a shop online. I create a website, and you come to my shop, and I never run out of products. Now, how is that possible? So basically, what happens is you place an order, you select a item on my shop, and then you add it to the cart, and then you place the order. You make the payment, you place the order. Now, I don't own the inventory. I don't have any of that product. So let's say you've ordered a smartphone. I don't have that smartphone. Okay, I don't have that smartphone. Actually, the smartphone is with someone else who's my supplier. So when the order comes to me, I give the order to the supplier. The supplier ships the product to you directly. The idea behind this is that you don't have to start a shop with a lot of inventory. So basically, you don't have to spend a lot of money to buy inventory. So I don't have to buy a lot of smartphones to first create a shop. I can just contact a supplier who has a smartphone, who is willing to ship it anywhere in the world, and I just need to create a shop. So basically, I'm the intermediary between the customer and the supplier. That's dropshipping in short.
Yeah, no, that's actually quite a good definition, Amit. Thank you for that. And I feel like we have talked about the similar concept in some of our previous episodes, but it wasn't dedicated to drop shipping. So yeah, there is a lot of information still to be talked about, and the world has evolved since pre-COVID times. So obviously, COVID has had an effect on everything, including the online business as well, and drop shipping is a part of it. So one of the things you said is about the stock availability, and yes, you're right. So one of the things that if you consider yourself as the seller, then you know put the website up and everything, and then yeah, you don't have to worry about stock, and that is enabling a lot of people with no capital, you know, little or no capital, to start their own, you know, source of income. But when I feel it could get a lot more powerful if you automate this backend process within, you know, dropshipping. So let's come back to the automation part after, but even just, you know, what as if we take it as it is at the moment, you know, you get an order in your website or in a sort of a platform like Amazon or Etsy. You have a shop and you get an order, and then you contact your warehouse or supplier and say that, look, I have one order, one piece, and that needs to go to this address. And then they fulfill the order on your behalf, and they have an agreement with you, so they will adhere to that. You know, they'll say that the seller is yourself, etc., etc. Now, where this could get interesting is if the vendor or the warehouse offers an API. And most of these shopping platforms like Amazon, Etsy, they also offer a seller API, a backend for sellers. So what happens is if you communicate with these two, if you are able to sort of get these two IT systems talk to each other, then you don't have to sit around every time there is an order. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning because it's a global market, right? And in Amazon, you could start selling in 10 different countries, including Japan and Mexico, in two ends of the world, in clicks of buttons. So you could have the same product sold in different, you know, throughout the
Geographies.
crowd. And you don't want to be doing, as soon as you get an order on Amazon, you don't want to be copying all of that information. And it's prone to error as well. If you're doing it manually, by, you know, human error is a good possibility. So, and, you know, imagine if you are a success, then you would have, you know, even if you are a moderate success, you would have 50 to 100 orders every day. You know, we're not talking about becoming a millionaire or, you know, this, you know, breaking this glass ceiling in this industry, but just even, you know, what majority of kind of established dropshippers are doing, they have some decent number, 50 to 100 sales every 24 hours. And that becomes quite a tedious task to do, because any time within these 24 hours, it could be every half an hour, it could be continuously for 8 hours and nothing after that. So, and that 8 hours could be the night time in whichever time zone you're residing in. So this becomes quite difficult to serve the customers a prompt service as they would expect. And to solve that, what is possible to do is to automate or you know, connect the IT systems of these two platforms. It doesn't even have to be Amazon or Etsy. I mean, even if you create your own website to sell through, you could have a, you know, backend IT system, even through WordPress, that will talk to the vendor. And now, obviously, if the vendor is providing such IT services, then they usually mark up their products in
Yes.
accordingly. So you have to think about all of these things. But if you really want to, like, you know, get full efficiency on this business model, I would recommend to definitely be IT efficient in this way. So you just can completely forget about it once it's established. I mean, obviously you have to, you know, spend a lot of time, do a lot of hard work to initially set it up, you know, put your products listed, and then, you know, establish communication of all kinds of scenarios that could happen, including refund, cancellation, wrong order, whatever. And then once everything is programmed and automated, then you don't have to click a single mouse click, but orders will be fulfilled. And that's what I was showing Amit about. One of the things that I have as a like a side project is that I have an Etsy shop, and what's happening in that Etsy shop is I have fully automated it with the vendor API. So the vendor is connected to the Etsy shop, Etsy API in the backend. And whenever there is a customer placing an order, the vendor automatically gets the order details, including the delivery address, and all the rest of it that they need to fulfill the item. So first of all, I have taken details, I have put in time to design all of my products, and made sure with the vendor that the vendor is able to create those on demand. And then I listed it on Etsy. And to be honest, being very honest, it's not like a very successful project of mine, because I might not be a very good creative designer, so my designs are not very popular. But I still get, 2 or 3 sales every few days, and those sales, the minute profit that they make, that is happening in a truly passive way, because I don't have to log in to do anything anymore, because it's fully automated. A customer places an order, and it goes to the vendor, and the vendor then fulfills it, and then on to the next one, even if there are multiple ones in an hour or in a day or in a month. So that's kind of the beauty of dropshipping. I mean, the technology can make this business model a lot more
Yes.
efficient. Yeah.
I think, Rinat, you gave a very good example about automation, and I think that is quite important. But let me just dial back a bit, because I think for the benefit of our audience, we need to like understand like how everything is working. So let's take the Amazon example. So suppose you go and buy a cup like a coffee cup from Amazon. Now Amazon has the cup in stock, and you place an order, and the stock gets shipped to your address. Now, I mean, we talked about, I think, e-commerce, and that's where we covered all these aspects. One of the things we talked about in e-commerce is affiliate marketing. If in affiliate marketing, what happens is, say you come to my YouTube channel and or our podcast, and then I talk about a cup from a supplier, say Amazon, and you decide that, okay, because Amit is saying or Rinat is saying I want to buy that coffee cup, and I go to Amazon to buy it. And how do you go? I provide a link, and you go there and you buy it. So I get a commission. Amazon sells a product, so we are both happy, and you are happy because you get a coffee that you'll want to order. Now in drop shipping, what happens is it's almost same. I mean, I would say it's almost same. I'm an intermediary. I take the order and I pass it on to a supplier. Because I'm giving supplier an order, supplier pays me a commission, but I need to host the site somewhere. So now there are a couple of options where I can host a shop. I can actually host a shop in Amazon, and I can connect it to my supplier. I can host it on eBay, or I can host it on Etsy. I can host it on Shopify. But every model has to I mean, you have to ensure that it passes the legal terms and conditions of the website that you want to host your shop in. So suppose you host your shop on Etsy. Etsy will say, okay, fine, I have about 10 million customers, and Etsy is like a shopping mall. A shopping mall has a lot of shops. So Rinat's shop is one of the shops in the shopping mall, which is Etsy. So someone goes to the shopping mall Etsy, and they go to Rinat's shop, and they select a product, or they just select a product. They don't care who the shopkeeper is. They just select a product, say a coffee cup with a very nice quote which Rinat has created, and the order gets placed, and it goes via the API to the supplier. Now in this case, what Rinat has done is, Rinat has taken stock, I mean, Rinat has customized a coffee cup. So what Rinat was mentioning about automation, here the power is, initially he has to set up a shop. He has to set up, okay, what's there in a shop? I have some items. The items have a list price, and the items will be delivered by a certain date, and you should be able to place an order of that particular item. Now, a coffee cup is very generic. So what Renat does is he customizes the design of the coffee cup. So his supplier says, I'll give you 10 or 100 black color t-shirts, and Rinat will come up with a design that is very specific to Rinat's choice and personal beliefs and personal life. So he'll create some codes, and he'll put it on the t-shirt, and that is his product. So t-shirt is being made by someone. It's Rinat's design, and it is hosted on Etsy. So this is all the technology enablement. So you have the technology, which is the shop. So I don't have to now deal with multi-billion dollar companies. I can simply go online, create a shop, connect it with a supplier. They also, because you're paying them commission, you don't have to pay them a subscription fee or anything. And whenever the product gets sold, the cost from that product, the value that the product is, I mean, it as is sold for, that is used to split the cost for hosting the shop and supplying the product. And plus you get a commission, say £1 or £2 for a coffee cup which is sold for about £15 or £20. So that is very powerful. I can now quickly create a shop. I don't have to be a millionaire. And because everything is automated, as Rinat mentioned, which is I think the key thing about dropshipping, everything is connected automatically. I connect to the supplier talks to Etsy. So I create the page on Etsy, but in the back end, my page talks to the supplier website, say Printful or Printify, and there are products there, coffee cups, t-shirts, pants, etc., which you can customize, different colors, different designs. You can create that. If it's all up to you how much time you want to spend. And once that shop is set on Etsy, you get all the customers which are coming to Etsy. So the benefit of hosting on Etsy is you get the traffic. Why do people want to go to a mall? Shopkeepers or businessmen, because there is a lot of traffic. I want traffic. So when people come through the shopping mall, if in case by mistake they cross through my shop, they see my shop, they like a product and they buy. If I am at a very remote location on the internet, which where people can't find me, then I have to spend a lot of time in shouting and marketing. Etsy takes care of that. So of course the margin is quite high. But there is no person saying that you cannot set up your own shop. You can set up your own shop on, say, Shopify. And by the way, this is not a promotion. We are not getting sponsored by any of these organizations. This is just something that we have used, and that's what we are recommending. So you open a shop in Shopify, but now you don't get the traffic. So you have to spend on marketing. So Shopify, the cost is low, but then you have to spend time in marketing. So in case you have a traffic already coming to your platform, say through a newsletter, through a podcast, through a YouTube channel, through a course that you've created, so you already have the traffic. That traffic you can funnel to your shop to sell these products.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, obviously, this drop shipping has been like quite a popular business model for I don't know about 4 or 5 or even 7 8 years. And now, obviously, there was a gold rush period when everyone was creating accounts in Amazon and eBay, and then they were doing drop shipping or similar things like getting buying things in bulk from China and then selling it in here. But nowadays a lot of people kind of knows about the business model, and a lot of the times vendors want to sell directly online with their own name, with their own brand name. Why do they need you? And then there are situations where drop shipping meant that you get the item from ordered the item from websites like Alibaba or AliExpress in China, but that takes a lot of time shipping wise to for the product to get in Western countries like UK, US, etc. So there are disadvantages, and there are
Yes.
people who are a lot more aware now. The buyer, rather than ordering from your website or Amazon, they could just go to AliExpress themselves and place the order themselves
Yeah.
for cheaper but the same quality product. So nowadays it has become quite competitive and saturated the market. So one of the things that you have to offer is something unique. You have to think about if you are. I mean, obviously this is not a business podcast. We're not giving you
Yeah.
advice on how to make your business successful, but it's just like something to think about. If you are, by knowing the technology, if you're interested in starting one of these, then it's also advisable to think about what is it that is different for a customer to come to your shop rather than going to AliExpress or other 100 shops that are available in Etsy or Amazon. So yeah, try and do something unique, maybe in the way you design, or maybe there could be other things that are about you, which is different about your shop. So those are some of the things. And but yeah, in terms of the technology that goes behind it, it's basically the way I feel is there. We've always, there is a stigma around the word middleman. The middleman takes all the money, and now you know it's necessary actually. I mean, or up until 10 years ago, because of the logistics, the way they were, a middleman or a middle person or a middle business entity was necessary because vendors produced any product in bulk, so in millions. They won't have the supply chain to distribute this throughout the country or the continent or the world, and they needed someone's help, logistical help, who would do that for them. And we used to call them the middlemen, as kind of saying that, okay, they're kind of, unnecessary, but they were actually very much necessary, because without them, we wouldn't be able to. I mean, the vendors are prepared to sell in bulk because they're making a million product every day. So if they don't sell it off straight away, they don't have place to put then tomorrow's product. So they were very much necessary. And now they're still necessary. The necessity didn't go away. But what happened is the middlemen companies, or the middle person organizations, trying to be politically correct, yeah, they've automated their business model so much that anyone can kind of subscribe to that business model or just copy that business
Yeah.
model. And that's how the drop shipping kind of came through, that anyone can be that middleman because it can, a lot of it is now automated. So from that perspective, in my head, this drop shipping was able to kind of take off. And now we have it like oversaturated
It
market.
is. Yes, it is.
But what I would say that all the other, the aspiring business persons, entrepreneurs are going to think about ways that they could differentiate from the rest. But our audience, hopefully, are a cross sections of technically savvy people, or at least interested in technology. So they could provide things, or they could enable the customer experience in different ways that the rest of the entrepreneurs might not be able to. So I would encourage that, take advantage of being a tech savvy person, and do something technical in your business, so you kind of stand out from the rest. It doesn't have to be the customer, how the customer sees your product. Even that, if you're building your own website, you could make it a lot more flashy with JavaScript coding and things like that, which the rest might not be able to do, or they have to hire someone who can do it. So yeah, there are benefits of knowing the technology, and that's where you can utilize it.
Absolutely, and I think yeah, you've made a right point that drop shipping itself has been very saturated. So basically, the topic came to my head because I was writing my newsletter, and and we talked about Etsy and your shop. So I got interested, and I was thinking, okay, so how does it work? Can I open my own shop? And then I realized, yes, it is very saturated. But I also then realized that there are a lot of influencers, Instagram, YouTube, and many other people who are actually selling their own merchandise. And I then wonder, how do they do it? And I'm guessing that it is through one of these concepts, because you don't have to keep the inventory. You just create a design. So say an influencer like MKBHD, he's one of the most popular tech YouTuber in the world, with more than I think 10 to 15 million followers. I can't remember exactly. And he has created his own merchandise. And then there is Linus Tech Tips, and he has created his own merchandise. And for that, I think what you can do is you can set up a shop, get the supplier to for some hoodie or some t-shirts, etc., and then just put your logo on it. And that is very powerful, because now you're not just getting money from say YouTube as ad revenue, but you're also getting money as part of selling a merchandise. Now, every as Rinat keeps saying, that we're not talking about creating a business or telling you how to run your business. The idea behind dropshipping is actually the whole process of automation. It's a completely new model in e-commerce, which we talked about, but we wanted to talk about it in more detail. Like everything is happening now online, and it has happened now. It's possible because of the internet infrastructure. We wouldn't have been able to do it maybe a couple of years back, and it has actually boomed during COVID. But now that COVID is gone, it's coming down now. So a lot of people were stuck at home. They had creative ideas and they thought, okay, why not? Let's do this, let's do that. We created a podcast in 2020 and we just published 50 episodes. So, I mean, it's like, okay, we have time. What do we do with it? And we had the experience and the knowledge, and we want to share it with the world. And that's why we continue to talk about different tech topics. And dropshipping is a topic that I think anyone can start if they're interested using technology. Technologies like Etsy, which is a marketplace, or Shopify that enables you to open a shop with the complete billing systems and everything. So it's all completely automated. So all you have to do is think what you want to sell, how you want to sell it. How do you want to accept payments? So Shopify will integrate with your PayPal account, with your any Stripe account, or any other payment account that you want to handle payments. It and these payment accounts in turn they will calculate the invoice, they'll calculate the tax, they'll calculate the commission. So that is all taken care of. And then you have the supplier. The order goes there, the order gets updated, then the order gets shipped. So the customer is sent an email, and the customer can get an up-to-date information about where the product is in terms of shipping, how long will it take, etc. And that whole process is automated. So now you think, okay, in today's world where everything is all automated and everything is driven by an API, how can I sell something? In essence, selling is not just a product. I mean, it could be a service. You can give advice. You can create a digital product like a newsletter, like a ebook. So I think Rinat, we you have created a book on Kindle. So Rinat's book is there. So guys, if you like what Rinat and I talk about, then you should go check out his book, which is available on Amazon Kindle. And yeah, it's a great book about robotic process automation. And if you're interested, then definitely go check it out. But the idea is that all these technologies enable you to do something. Like I wouldn't have never thought about writing my own book because I thought it's a lot of effort. But Rinath has published a book, and that's a huge thing. In today's day and age, publishing a book is so simple that you just need the idea, write it, and there are so many websites that can get your book published. Similarly, drop shipping, you have so many products that you can sell, and there is a business model or an online, what do you say, a concept, business concept that you can leverage to sell things online.
Absolutely. It feels like we are promoting ourselves a lot to this
Well,
episode we
well,
are talking
the
about.
whole idea
But
is, well, the whole idea of drop shipping is that you set up your own shop. So
mhm.
yes, we want to promote ourselves. We want to tell as many people as possible about our podcast, but in the hope that they learn something new. And it's not like, okay, we're just selling ourselves because we want you to buy something. No, we are not selling anything. We don't have a shop. I mean, at least I don't have a shop. Rinath has a shop. It's a great shop, so do check it out. And Rinath is not paying me, and I'm not paying Rinath to talk about, and we don't get commissions. But the whole idea is that it is possible, and if we
Yeah,
can do it,
absolutely.
you can
And
do it as
and
well.
and also the Kindle book is also free for all the Kindle user. You don't have to pay to
Yes.
get that book. So yeah, feel free to check out. But it is free for anyone who has a Kindle account.
So I think, Rinath, so this is less about business and sorry, less about technology and more about business. But I just wanted to clarify, like, okay, in this e-commerce age, and I work for an e-commerce company as well, and in the retail sector, it's a very interesting concept, like how you can leverage technology to sell something. In the future, if we tomorrow decide to create a logo and we want to sell merchandise, then dropshipping could be an option where we don't have to buy or worry about how do we get hoodies of different colors, or how do we get t-shirts of different sizes and colors. We just create a design and we just send it to a supplier and they print it and ship it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, to keep in mind that, there are many ways to stand out, when you are sort of trying to start up your own business, etc. I mean, the customer experience, the UI experience is just one thing, but, from the beginning to end, from the idea of this is the product, I mean, your research, if it is augmented by technology, could be a lot more powerful. Like, if you're just at the very beginning step, if you're just choosing, I want to start up a business, what product should I sell, rather than someone who would just go by their hunch, you could create an elaborate data statistics and find out what, from Google Analytics and other things. We've talked about many of these topics as well. So taking advantage of these tools available online, and adding a bit more data science into it, or just analyzing the data with using tech, you would probably find out the exact right product for this season that should sell the most, or that has the least competition and stuff like that. And that's just the start of it. And there, every step of setting up a business, drop shipping especially, because it's fully online, um, has can be augmented by using technology. So yeah, I mean, I would again extra promote myself and urge you guys to check out all of our previous videos, because a lot of them would touch upon various technologies which can certainly help with any business startup. For example, I mean, you might think, you know, if you just look at a particular technology, you might not think about how can this help in my business. But if you think of your particular business process and what technology can be used to make it, bring a more cohesive or a more logical and more transparent answer to your problem, then technology definitely can augment your answer or your processes. So definitely, think that way. How can tech be involved in your logistics, business, marketing, sales, calculation, etc., etc.?
I think, Rinat, I think you've said the right thing. Think about the business idea first, then think about technology. Technology is an enabler. It enables you to do something, to achieve a goal. So we talk about technology, but it lets us do many things. So if you look at it that way, then I think it'll give you more rewards. But if you just look at, okay, this is a fancy tool, this is a fancy concept, and I just want to use it without actually thinking about the business idea or the product idea, then I think you will be disappointed. So it's always
Exactly,
important.
and in 2022, in this oversaturated, not just drop shipping, in any kind of online venture, one of the still unique ways to stand out is through technology. I mean, even if you want to do a shared design, you could, instead of doing the design yourself, there is DALI. Ask AI to do a design for you, and that, those designs have made it to magazine covers. They're definitely good enough for your startup business t-shirt design. So definitely, there are so many innovative ways where you can connect technologies to stand out in your business. That it would be interesting. I'm sure there are, like sort of interested people in our audience. So if you guys, if anyone, ends up creating any of these as a side project or their main project, do let us know. We'd be really happy to see how this thing progressed and how you integrated technology that other people might not do instinctively, and how it helped your business. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys on this. At least some, if not 10, but maybe at least 2 or 3 people hopefully would make this into a reality. It's easy to do. So very much encourage you guys to look into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with technologies like DALI and stable diffusion and Imagen from Google, I think it's possible. So yeah, so there are these technologies, and I was actually thinking that maybe in one of our next talks we should talk about the AI applications, because there is now so many different types of AI with which you can do so many different things that it is going to create a new type of industry. It is going to create new type of jobs, and there will be new type of business ideas and business models that people can explore, and all using the power of technology. And as Rinat mentioned, get the idea first before you actually use any technology, because you might say, okay, there is DALI and let's use it, but if you are not focused about what is the end goal of using that technology, then you will never be able to sell something of value, or even create something of value. You will just experiment, like I experimented. I played with a text to image tool called Midjourney, and I created an image, but I don't know what to do with it. It's just a hobby. But if you're focused,
Maybe
and if
create an NFT and publish it
yes,
as a.
exactly. So there are so many of these ideas that you can do, but you need to understand why you want to do it in the first place. It's like saying, I want to automate something, so this is a new tool in the market, so let's use that tool, but you have not figured out what you want to automate.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. So it's usually always encouraged to have a vision before you start, but then know that vision will change along the journey, but at least that will let you start with towards something, and then yeah, be flexible that it will change. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting topic. It's quite sort of business tech related, but we wanted to sort of focus on the tech side and how it could be a game changer in any business setting. The integration of different techs that are available, especially in dropshipping, because when I was talking to Amit, I was telling you how automated it is, and what can we even do in future, because for example right now I'm well no, I don't um I'm not a very good designer, but I'm doing the designs myself in the Etsy shop. But potentially that process can also be automated. That could be a decision tree based automation, or it could be AI based automation, like the example I did give. But yeah, I mean, how can I potentially automate based on the upcoming seasons? Like, for example, Christmas season, it will have different kind of automation, and then it will sort of. This is just spitballing ideas here. For example, 2 months after, 1.5 months after, there's Valentine's Day, so it should change the type of design that it outputs automatically. It uploads some Valentine's Day related, and then there is Easter holiday. So every month there is one thing or another, and why not do all of these? It's easy to create a calendar and automate what kind of product you want in which season, including summer and winter and different types of products, t-shirts or jackets, etc., etc. So can these be automated? I'm sure they can be. And if a vendor has a variety of products, you could kind of say that these months upload these items with these kind of designs, and maybe then your shop will still be fully passive, yet will be a lot more varied, with a lot of diverse designs, relevant to the current season. So yeah, there's so many ways technology can help, not just drop shipping business model, but any business which is related to sort of physical products. We as soon as we hear physical products, we kind of think that, oh, how much technology can you really use a physical product at the end of the day? But there is still a lot more way to go. And if you are someone lazy like me, then you would want to try and automate everything and find new ways to add technology into your life. So yeah, encourage the audience to do that.
I think, Rinat, we have to mention that it's not just about being lazy. Uh, I think you want to make the process more efficient, so it takes up less of your time. So that's also important. So I know that you put in a lot of effort. I don't think you're lazy.
No, no, yeah, I was just, yeah, so this was like a spin on that quote from Bill Gates, I think, that, if I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
something
yeah.
done quickly, I want to hire someone lazy. So
Someone lazy, yes.
find the smartest way to do it. But yeah, Absolutely, yeah. The setup, the initial, effort is definitely significant, but then you can relax after. So
Yes. And
that's
Rinat, you have given a very interesting idea that use DALI or some kind of a tool to create designs for your product and then sell that online. And why not? I mean, maybe
Mhm.
that'll pick up. Maybe we should try that.
Yes, absolutely. We could even sort of create merch for our podcast. There could
Yeah.
be a TikTok podcast T-shirt
Yes. Yes.
that
Created by an AI.
yes, and it could be available to buy worldwide through Amazon or Etsy or wherever.
So
So
see, we spoke about drop shipping and now we are talking about selling some our own merchandise. So basically, guys, I think you get the idea why we wanted to talk about it because using technology, you can quickly set up a shop, you can quickly sell and ship items, and all you have to do is have an idea. As simple as that.
So yes, we wholeheartedly encourage the audience to sort of check it out. Even if it is saturated, you never know. Your idea is definitely a unique one, or you can make it unique by making subtle tweaks. So definitely do encourage you guys to check it out and potentially create one. If you have very small capital and as a side project for fun. Try one, create one, and if it fails, then you lose the very small capital, but you would learn a lot more than any sort of course in Udemy would teach you. So definitely would strongly encourage to try it out.
Absolutely. And I think what Rinat mentioned in the beginning is APIs that enables everything. And we have actually talked about API in one of the first few episodes. I think in the first 5 or 10 episodes we
And
spoke
second
about
episode it
second
was.
episode. So yeah, our second episode was API, and API is a very powerful thing, and that's actually driving a lot of these innovations in the technology industry. So there is a lot of data coming in. That data gets stored in a database, and companies want to give access to that data in that database through APIs. So they will define what you can do with that data through that API. And basically, that is an API. And if you want to hear more about what it is, do listen to our podcast. But I think, as Rinat mentioned, do try it out. In Even if you don't sell any product, you will learn quite a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, with that thought, keep coming back to us, our episodes, and we plan to, publish every week, and hopefully we'll see you guys again next week.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.